Jamaica doesn't like third terms. That's not a law, it's a legacy. Since independence, the country has almost always removed political parties after 2 consecutive terms. The one exception? P.J. Patterson in 1997. And now, as we head into the 2025 general election, the signs are clear. Many Jamaicans are once again saying, enough is enough. A recent nationwide Blue Dot poll found that voters in 6 parishes, Kingston, St. Andrew, Manchester, St. Mary, Trelawney, and St. Anne, are not in support of giving the JLP a 3rd term. That's not just a shift, that's a warning, because together these parishes account for a large slice of the electorate, and many of them helped power the JLP's massive victory in 2020. Let's talk history. In 1980, the JLP swept to power. By 1989, they were out. The PNP under Michael Manley and later P.J. Patterson held on until 2007, but they too were voted out after 3 terms, the last of which only survived because of Patterson's unique popularity and the fractured opposition. Since then, no party has been able to keep the love going for more than 2 terms. It's not a pattern, it's a culture. Only once has Jamaica backed a 3rd term, and that was in 1997, when P.J. Patterson led the PNP to a commanding win. But why? Economic growth, charismatic leadership, and a disjointed opposition gave him the edge. It wasn't a given, it was earned. And even then, the PNP would later lose traction. So, what's happening now? According to the latest data, voters in these 6 parishes are resisting a 3rd JLP term. Let's briefly look at each. Kingston. Long known as PNP country, but parts like West Kingston and Central Kingston backed the JLP in 2020, and West Kingston always does. Now, voter fatigue is high. St. Andrew. Diverse, urban, and vocal. It's the home of thought leaders and middle-class professionals. Some feel the prosperity is yet to reach them. Manchester, a swing parish. It flipped to the JLP in 2020, shocking many, but now local frustrations over infrastructure and representation are mounting. Could it swing back? St. Mary quietly loyal, but not immune to disappointment. Development is slow, and some roads are in poor condition. Residents say they've seen enough speeches and not enough action. St. Anne, tourism central, but ordinary residents still face bad roads and job uncertainty. Many are saying the government's performance isn't matching its visibility. Trelawney, a proud parish that helped fuel the JLP's rise in 2016 and 2020. But today, some voters say they feel used and ignored. So why is this happening? Why did Jamaicans lose patience after 2 terms? Here we don't vote just for a party, we vote for the results. And when results stop showing up, voters start tuning out. Young voters are especially tired of political theatre. They want clean water, jobs, housing, and they want it now. Meanwhile, the diaspora is watching and influencing their families back home. What it means for the JLP. This isn't to say the JLP has lost. Far from it. By several measures, the Andrew Holness-led government has achieved what many before it could not. Jamaica's economy is arguably in the best shape of any government seeking re-election in modern history. Unemployment is at a record low. The government has successfully navigated the economic aftershocks of the global COVID-19 pandemic without major fiscal collapse. And then there's the crime issue. For the first time since the early 1990s, Jamaica has recorded a significant and sustained drop in murders. That's not just a statistic, it's a shift people feel in communities long plagued by fear. These are not minor wins, they are historic milestones. So the question isn't whether the JLP has achievements, it's whether those achievements are enough to break Jamaica's tradition of resisting third terms, to overcome local frustrations, and to motivate voters in key parishes to show up and say, yes, go again. Will performance trump fatigue, or will history repeat? Many across the nation strongly feel that the JLP will be returned to Jamaica House with great ease. What the PNP needs to remember. The PNP can't afford to just wait for the tide to turn. History may favor opposition parties after 2 terms, but history alone doesn't win votes. The PNP must show that it is not only ready, but credible, prepared, and united. Voters have not forgotten its past missteps, and while discontent with the government might open a window, that window is narrow and closing fast. More importantly, the party must aggressively and clearly present its agenda to the Jamaican people. Right now, many voters say they still don't know what the PNP stands for in practical terms. General slogans and criticisms won't be enough. People want to know, how will you fix the water problems? How will you grow the economy? How will you create the environment to create jobs? What's your plan for schools, farming, and security? This is a different electorate. Today's voter is more sophisticated, more skeptical, and far more demanding than in years past. They want solutions, not speeches. They want engagement, not empty rallies. And they want specifics, backed by people they trust to deliver. If the PNP doesn't rise to meet that expectation, even widespread fatigue with the JLP might not be enough to put them back in office.
Bonus facts.
Number 1. Kingston had one of the lowest voter turnouts in 2020. Disengagement isn't new, but it could be decisive if it grows. Number 2. Manchester flipped twice in the last 3 elections. It voted PNP in 2011, JLP in 2016, and leaned heavily toward JLP in 2020. Number 3. St. Anne has had a strong diaspora influence. Remittances are high, and so is overseas political influence. Number 4. Trelawney's infrastructural needs are now an election issue. Even JLP supporters are openly voicing discontent. Jamaica is not just facing an election, it's facing a choice. Continue the path or demand change. And in 6 powerful parishes, the signal is clear. Third chances are rare and harder to earn. Are we witnessing a shift or just a warning? Subscribe to Impacting Jamaica for grounded, honest political analysis leading up to the next general election on the island.